Hi guys, Michelle here from Sequoia Wellness. Today we're going to be doing about a 30-minute all-level Vinyasa Flow. We'll get you up and moving, get the heart rate up a little bit, and then we'll bring it down and stretch it out a little bit afterwards. If you can get outside for this, that's great. Otherwise, just make your way to a mat if you have one or have enough space to comfortably move around. We're going to get started in child's pose. You can take the knees wide toward the outside of that mat. Let the toes come to touch. Reach the arms out in front of you. Forehead can kiss the floor. If this is uncomfortable for you, you could place propping, blankets, pillows, couch cushions, whatever you're working with. You could also knock the knees together and sweep the arms behind you if that's more comfortable. The grounding down here, breathing into the back body and filling up the back ribs. And tapping in, connecting with the space that you're about to practice in. Getting that nice grounding energy. And taking a moment, creating an intention for your class. Maybe it's something that you wish to carry on with you throughout the rest of your day, throughout the rest of your week. If you're having trouble thinking of something, just using grounding as your intention. I think we all need a little bit of that right now. Just allow for a few more deep breaths with this. You're ready to move a little bit. You can gently start by turning the head a little bit side to side, massaging out that third eye on the floor. And then start to pick up that forehead. Walk your arms on over to the right side. Allow your left hip to drop a little bit more off to the left. Forehead melts back down as you feel that stretch along the whole left side of the body. And pick it on up and walk it on over to the opposite side. Let that right hip drop off this time. And as you walk it on back to center, we're going to rise on up to our hands and knees from here, which will be a tabletop position where you stack the wrist joints underneath of the shoulder joints and the knee joints under the hip joints. We'll begin with a few cat-cows. When you're ready, inhale, lift your chest, your gaze, and your tail. As you exhale, round that spine, tuck your chin and your tail underneath of you. Move with the breath here. Inhale to cow. Pull the earth towards you with your palms gripping your mat. And then exhale, round that spine, press the floor away. Again, it's always that inhale to lift the heart, and then the exhale to round that spine. And taking one more round of this here on your own. Always want to end with that exhale through cat pose before coming back to that neutral spine. And then from here, we're going to tuck our toes right on under and come right into our first downward facing dog. So you can send your hips up and back into your pike. And then start to walk out that dog by bending one knee, straightening out that opposite leg. From here, let's rise up nice and high to the toes. Let the shoulders come over top of the wrist. And then exhale, send your hips up and back. Let heels track down toward the floor. It's okay if they can't actually touch. And find that inhale, rise all the way on up, shoulders over wrist. Exhale, send hips up and back, finding that downward facing dog. Pressing back into that upside down V. One more time here. Inhale, roll up and forward. And then exhale, roll up and back. Nice. This time we're going to bend the knees, send the sits bones back here, draw the chest toward the thighs. As you exhale, straighten out the legs as much as you can maintain while continuing to send those sits bones up and back more. Inhale, find that big bend in the knees. Exhale, work towards straightening out the legs, pressing the floor away with your palms. One more time, nice big inhale, bend. Exhale, straighten it out. Rest here, let the crown of the head hang heavy. Maybe give that head a good shake, yes and no. Let go of tension through the neck, through the shoulders. Begin to flow here. We're going to rise up nice and high to those toes. Bend the knees, look forward to the top of the mat, and then step your feet up in between your hands, forward fold here. We'll inhale, find a halfway lift, a long spine. Palms come to the shins or the thighs, crown of the head reaches forward, sits bones reach back. As you exhale, lengthen and fold down those legs. It's okay if you need to bend the knees as you fold. Inhale, find that halfway lift. Exhale here, fold on down. Inhale, let the arms sweep all the way up toward the sky. This time it's extended mountain pose, heart opens toward the ceiling. And then exhale, let your hands float down through your heart, forward fold over your legs again. Once more, inhale, let the arms sweep all the way up, extended mountain. Exhale, hinge and fold, back down, over your legs. Let's inhale, find our halfway lift this time, find that flat back again. Exhale, lengthen and fold it down. Plant your palms into the floor and then step your feet back to your high plank, very top of your push-up. From your high plank, let's pedal out those feet again. So bend one knee, press to that opposite heel, and keep the hips down, keep the core on. Just rolling back and forth on the wrist a little bit as long as it feels okay. And then from here, start to straighten out both legs by pressing your heels toward the wall behind you. Crown of the head reaches forward as you gaze out over the very tippity top of the mat. And try to lengthen through that upper back, through the thoracic spine. And then we're going to roll forward and then let our shoulders come over top of our fingertips. Our knees are going to drop down to the floor. And toes are going to uncurl here. Bend the elbows behind you and lower down to the belly. Palms are underneath of those shoulders. Continue to hug those elbows in behind you. Inhale, lift your head and heart, finding your cobra pose. And then exhale, release all the way back down to the floor. Find your inhale again, lift the head, lift the heart, cobra. Maybe you can float the palms off of your mat. Use the muscles here in your back to help you stay lifted. And then exhale, float back down. From here, press it on back to your tabletop. Let the toes tuck under. We find that downward facing dog again. Sending hips up and back here. And then again, we'll rise up nice and high to those toes. Bend the knees, look forward. And then step your feet up in between the hands. It's okay if it takes a few steps to get there. Once you've arrived, we inhale. Halfway lift. Exhale here, forward fold. Inhale, let the arms reach all the way up, extended mountain. Exhale, hands float down through the heart, forward fold again. Inhale, find that halfway lift. Exhale, fold it down. Palms plant, feet step back, high plank, top of your push-up. From your high plank this time, roll forward, let shoulders come over top of those fingertips. You can choose to drop knees like we did the first time, or you can keep the knees lifted and bend elbows behind you and lower down to the belly in one piece. Flip the feet, inhale, lift your head, lift your heart, cobra pose. Exhale here, release. They're pressing on back through table, or if you'd like, you could press back through a high plank. And together here, we'll meet back in downward facing dog. We'll take one more round like this. Rise up high to those toes. Bend the knees, look forward. You can take a few steps, you can take one step, or you can add a little hop to the top. Inhale here, find your halfway lift. Exhale here, lengthen and fold. Inhale here, let the arms sweep all the way up toward the sky. Exhale, hinge and fold back down over your legs. Inhale, find that halfway lift. Exhale here, fold it down. Plant those palms, let those feet step back. Same thing here, we roll forward, shoulders come over top of fingertips. You can drop the knees, you can lower to the belly, or you can chaturanga dandasana, which is high to low plank, bending elbows behind you, no more than a 90-degree angle. You inhale as you flip the feet and lift the heart to find your up dog or cobra if you lower it all the way down to the floor. From here, you exhale, send your hips up and back, downward facing dog. You can take any version of that flow, or you can always skip the flow. And from high plank, you can always just push your hips up and back and find downward facing dog and rest there. Adding on this time, rise up high to the toes, bend the knees, look forward, walk, step, or add that hop. This time we're just going to inhale and reach the arms up toward the sky. As you exhale, bend the knees, sit low, and find your chair. Find a big breath in. As you exhale, maybe sit down just a little lower. One more breath in. Exhale, sit just a little lower for a moment. When you're ready, rise all the way on back up to stand. We're going to grab our left wrist with our right hand. Left thumb points back. Reach up and take a side bend up and over to the right. Stay grounded through that left foot. You can either look up toward the sky or under that armpit, or down at the pinky side edge of that right foot. Reach it on up, grab the right wrist with the left hand, right thumb back, up and over to the left. And then come on back from here, release the grasp, open the heart up toward the sky, nice big upper back bend. As you exhale, let the hands float down through your heart, forward fold over those legs. Let's inhale, find a little halfway lift just to reset for a moment. As you exhale and fold it down, plant your palms and then step your feet back, find that high plank again. Adding on from our high plank, we're going to plant our left palm in the center. Heels are going to drop off to the left and your right arm is going to reach up high toward the sky. If you need to modify, bring your left knee down toward the floor for the modified side plank. And take a breath here, in through the nose. Exhale out of the nose. One more time, big breath in. And a big breath out. Awesome. Go ahead and release back to your high plank from here. This time our right palm plants center, heels drop off to the right, left arm sweeps up. If you need to bring right knee down to modify, you can. Another option is you could stack the left foot on top of the right if you need a little bit more. Otherwise, have the left foot staggered in front of the right to be a little more balanced. And find that breath in here. Exhale, let it go. One more time, breath in. Exhale, release back to your high plank. And from your high plank, we're going to take our flow to get back to down dog. So that's roll forward, shoulders over those fingertips, and then find your flow. Either lower down to the belly or bend elbows behind you. Either way, you inhale and you lift your heart. If you made your way all the way down to the belly, exhale and release. If you're in up dog, you can tuck the toes, roll through high plank, And then exhale, send hips up and back, downward facing that way. Resting here, finding breath again. When you're ready, walk your feet together so that they touch. Let your left foot stay planted. Let the right leg reach up high toward the sky. It's a three-legged dog. We're going to draw our knee toward our nose, coil and hover around that spine like cat pose, and then step that foot through between the hands. Our back foot is going to spin down to a 45-degree angle. Root down, rise up, find warrior one. Nice big bend in that front knee. Deep breath in through the nose. As you exhale, bring your hands behind the back. Let the fingers interlace. Press the palms down and away as you look up and find a back bend. Still keep the big bend in the front knee. If this is too much for that low back, you can always grab on opposite elbow behind, and give a little support that way. From here, we'll exhale, find a humble warrior. Let the head hang heavy as you try to draw that right shoulder on top of that right knee here. You can gaze back at your standing leg or at the wall behind you, finding that shoulder rinse. Awesome. From here, release and rise back up. Let the arms sweep up again. We're going to let the hands fly behind us. Let the weight shift forward into that front foot, finding an airplane pose. Left hip squares down in line with the right. Your back foot is flexed like you're pressing it into a wall behind you. Find a breath in. As you exhale, bend your standing knee. Allow your left foot to land next to the right, mountain pose. Shift the weight into your left foot. Draw the right knee up towards your chest to find stork, arms tee out. Allow that right hand to come on top of that right knee. Left hand is here to counterbalance as that right knee swings open to the right side. And find your tree pose here, allowing that right foot to come to your standing leg as high or low as you wish. The hips are square, that right knee presses back and open to help feel a really good stretch. You could have hands at heart, or you could reach your arms up toward the sky. You could look up or close the eyes if you need to challenge that balance a little more. One more breath. Awesome. Exhale, release that right foot back down to the floor. Find your mountain again. We inhale here, reach the arms up high. As you exhale, hands float down through your heart and you forward fold over those legs. Inhale, find a nice halfway lift, little reset. Exhale, lengthen and fold it down. Plant your palms, step your feet back, find your high plank. From high plank, we take that flow to get back to downward facing dog here. Inhale to lift your heart. Exhale, release down dog, resting pose. When you're ready for the other side, left leg's gonna reach on up. Knee is gonna start to come towards your nose. Coil, hover, and then step that foot through. Back foot spins down 45 degrees, big bend in the front knee, rise up, warrior one. From your warrior one, hands come behind the back, fingers interlace. Press the palms down, shoulder blades squeeze together. Go ahead and look up, take that back bend. As you exhale, go ahead and dive forward, find that humble warrior. The more you keep the palms together to touch, the more intense that will be. And then from here, release, rise back up again, warrior one. Arms are gonna fly behind you this time. Shift the weight forward, find that airplane pose on this side. Make sure you're not locking out that standing knee. You have a little micro bend there, keeping you strong. Another breath. Little bit bigger of a bend in the knee. The right foot comes down next to the left. You shift your weight into the right foot. Draw that left knee up towards your chest this time, opposite leg. Left hand's gonna come on top of that left knee. You swing your leg open to the left, and then we find our tree pose on this side. Remember that leg can be as high or low as you wish, as long as it's not right on the knee joint, which could cause the leg to give out if too much pressure is applied. It could also be a little kickstand down on the floor if needed. Your best variation here. One more breath. And then release, allow that left foot down next to the right. One more time, we inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, hands float down as you forward fold. We inhale here, find halfway lift. Exhale here as you release. Palms plant, step feet back, find your high plank, and then take that flow here to get back to down dog. Remember, if you need to skip the flow and go straight to down dog, you can do so. You can also rest in child's pose at any point if needed. Nicely done. Adding on here, walk your feet together to touch, left foot stays planted, right leg reaches up. From here, you bend the knee and stack the hips. Let the knee open up toward the sky. Shoulders remain even. Weight is in the hands evenly as well. And straighten that leg on back out again. We're going to add on by drawing our knee toward our right elbow. We inhale and reach that leg back up. Knee is going to come towards your left elbow, twist into it. And then inhale, reach it up again. Knee is going to come toward our nose. We coil, we hover. And then step that foot on through. Back foot is going to spin parallel to the back of the mat. This time we're going to curl our arms open to a T, finding our warrior two. Make sure that knee is tracking over second and third toe. When you look down, you should be able to see your front big toe. Reaching evenly from the front fingertips through the back fingertips. And flip your very front palm and then reverse to your warrior. Left hand can reach down that back leg or be supported underneath of the back. Heart rotates open toward the sky. As you exhale, you rise up for side angle pose. You can bring the forearm down to the thigh, or you can reach down for the ground or for a block if you'd like. Left arm can either reach up toward the ceiling or overhead, finding that side stretch. Another breath here. Rise on up, find your warrior two. We're going to straighten out our very front leg as you hinge and reach forward. Find your triangle pose. That right hand can gently rest on the shin, or you can remove it and stay lifted, or you can reach down for the floor for propping if you have props. The back stays nice and straight as if you're leaning up against a wall behind you. You grow about an inch taller here through your left fingertips if you can. Awesome. Put a nice big bend in the front knee. Rise back up. Find warrior two again. This time we're going to cartwheel our hands down so they frame our front foot. Our left palm is going to be planted. Pivot your back foot and let your right arm reach up high toward the sky, finding a twisted lunge. Right hand plants down on the floor. Drop your back left knee. Uncurl the toes. We're going to roll back and forth from half split to low lunge. So you send the hips back, nice straight spine as you flex that front foot. And then roll forward to low lunge and lift the heart. If you have any props that your hands can be under here, that can really help you out. Otherwise, just move here at your own pace with your own breath. I love to inhale and roll forward and then exhale, roll back. Next time you exhale and roll back here, go ahead and flex that foot a little bit more. Think about pulling your kneecap up towards your right hip instead of locking that kneecap down. Lengthen the spine a little more as that crown of the head reaches forward toward the foot and you fold over the leg. If you're a little more bendy, you can take your left hand and maybe even reach for the pinky side edge of that foot and twist into it. Another option is to walk your hands on over toward that right side, fold over that right side, and breathe into that IT band. And deep breath here. Awesome. Go ahead and return your heart back to center. Roll forward, put that bend in the front knee. Hands are either on the floor, on blocks, or you can guide them up to the thigh. Or if you'd like, reach your arms up toward the sky. Maybe you find a little bit more of a back bend. You could bring hands together to touch, lift the heart. And then hands come down to frame your front foot from here. Your back toes curl, that knee lifts. You step the back foot up to meet the front, forward fold over the legs. We inhale here, halfway lift. As you exhale, release it down. Inhale here, let the arms sweep all the way up toward the sky, extended mountain. Exhale here, hands swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Palms plant, step your feet back, find that high plank. From our high plank, we'll take our flow to get back to down dog. Remember, you don't have to do the same version of it every time. If once in a while you want to drop knees, you can do so. If you want to try chaturanga once in a while, go for that as well. And just make sure you're not compromising your form with your flow. You're just doing what feels good for your body. Either way, we all exhale and release and meet back in downward facing dog together. And getting set up here for the other side. We walk feet together to touch first. Right foot stays planted. Left leg reaches up, three-legged dog. That right heel can either be lifted or planted, kind of just depending on your flexibility. But then we bend the knee and stack the hips and let that left knee shine up, opening up that hip. When you straighten out that leg from here, we'll build that little bit of heat by bringing that knee toward our left elbow. If you need to do this on your hands and knees instead, you could do that as well and reach that leg back. Knee is going to come toward that right elbow and then reach it on back again. Knee is going to come toward our nose and then we step it on through. Back foot is going to spin parallel to the back of the mat. Cartwheel your arms open to the T. Find your warrior two on this side. Gazing out over those front fingertips. Flip that front palm. Reverse that warrior. As you exhale, rise. Find your side angle. If forearms on the thigh, let your left palm shine up toward the sky as if you're a server holding the tray. If you reach down to the ground, remember that hand can be in front or behind the foot. Find a breath, play with the pose. Rise up here, find warrior two. Straighten out that front leg again. As you reach forward, find triangle. Your kneecap is nice and lifted here so that the quad is engaged so you can properly stretch that hamstring. One more round of breath. Nicely done. Bend in that front knee. Rise up. Warrior two. Cartwheel your hands down, framing front foot again. Pivot that back foot. Press through the back of that right heel. Plant that right palm on the floor, on propping if you got it. Let that left arm reach up high toward the sky, finding your twist. Left hand plants down to the floor from here. Drop that back right knee. Toes uncurl. From here, we move back and forth from that low lunge to our half split. Just finding that feel-good movement through your hip flexors, through your hamstrings. Connecting the breath with it as you flow and move. Next time you roll back, we hold that half split here. Again, you can take that right hand and reach for pinky side edge of the foot if you need more, or walk your hands over toward that left leg and fold over it. Maybe instead you just like to work toward keeping that nice straight spine. Wherever you are, allow for a breath. And then start to bend that front knee over that ankle again. From here, lift the heart. Hands can stay on the floor on blocks, or you can guide them up to that thigh. Or arms can just reach up toward the sky and you can find that back bend. And then allow your hands to come down, framing your front foot. Let your back toes curl, let that knee lift. Step your back foot up to meet the front, forward fold over those legs. We'll take one last flow here by inhaling, halfway lift. Exhale here to fold it down. Inhale here, let the arms sweep up, extended mountain. Exhale, hands flip down through the heart, hinge and fold over the legs. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Palms plant, feet step back, high plank. Take one last good flow here. We'll all meet back in downward facing dog together. Nicely done. From our downward facing dog, we're going to set up for pigeon pose. I'll give an alternative option if this version of pigeon does not work for you. But otherwise, go ahead and reach your right leg up high. Once more, bend your knee and stack your hips just to give one last good opening before we set up. And straighten that leg on back out. We're going to let our knee come toward our right wrist. And you're going to set that leg down. Walk your back leg back so that it is parallel to the side of the mat. Make sure your back foot is not sickled. That top of the foot is just planted. You can try to bring your front shin as parallel to the front of the mat as you can maintain with a flexed foot to protect the knee. And make sure that you're not sitting off onto one side. You're staying on top of the pose here. You can walk your palms back a little bit, press into the floor and lift the heart. Find a little back bend. And then as you exhale, you can reach that crown of the head up and forward. As you fold on down, you could come down to propping such as pillows or blankets, or you could come down to the forearms, or you could stack the palms for forehead or chin if you prefer. And if this pose is absolutely not for you, no worries. Make your way onto your back and just take one ankle over top of one knee. And draw that thigh in towards you, finding four figure on your back. Either variation of this is good. And just take a few deep breaths wherever it is that you are. If you are on your back, you can release and unwind. Take the feet wide and kind of windshield wiper your knees out side to side a little. If you're in this traditional pigeon pose, bring your palms to the floor to guide yourself up. And tuck your toes under, lift that knee. See if you can press your palms into the floor to lift your body up. Swing that right leg back up high toward the sky again. Bend your knee and stack your hips and roll it out a little bit. We're going to get set up for the other side. So bring that right foot down. Let the left leg reach up toward the sky. Knee is going to come toward your left wrist to set up. If you're on your back, go ahead and take this pose on the other side, whichever ankle that you didn't cross over that other knee. Same thing here on this side. You can work toward lifting that heart, finding that back bend, working toward that king pigeon-like pose. And then crown of the head's going to reach up and forward with a flat back as you fold on down from here. If you need to stay lifted in the pose, if coming down is a little bit too much, that is fine. You can try to work on trying to keep that nice straight spine, making sure your right hip is down and in line with that left hip. Same thing, if you're on your back, windshield wiper your knees a little bit or counter stretch how you need to. If you're in this pose with me, go ahead and plant your palms to lift back up. Back toes are going to curl, knees going to lift. Press into the floor to reach that left leg up high again. Bend your knees, stack your hips, and then roll it on out from here. Allow that left foot to come down next to the right. We're gonna drop both knees down to the floor. If you're on your back, go ahead and roll up to a seat for just a moment. We're gonna reach both legs out in front of us. And flex both feet, keeping the ankles and big toes together. Press through the heels. Let the hands come down to the floor. Press into the floor to sit up nice and tall on the sits bones. And keep this nice straight spine as you inhale and reach the arms up high. Exhale, reach up and fold with that nice flat back. Hands can come down to the floor. They can come to the shins or for the feet. But try to maintain that straight spine as you fold over the legs. So rather than trying to deepen the pose and just letting your nose come towards your knees and rounding the spine, rather than finding that depth, think about how can I find more length? How can I become a little more long? Let the sits bones reach behind you more as you press through those heels a little more. Another breath here. Awesome. Go ahead and start to walk your palms on back. Plant the hands behind you for a reverse plank. Fingertips will face toward you. Lift the hips up toward the sky, feet come down toward the floor. You could also do reverse table. Let the feet come to the floor and then just lift your hips up that way. Slightly more gentle. Lowered on back down, we'll find a Baddha Konasana, bound angle. Soles of the feet together, knees wide. If you can interlace the fingers around the front of the feet underneath, that's great. You could also just reach as far down the calves or for the ankles as you can. Lift the crown of the head and then exhale, fold, thinking about bringing the elbows toward the outsides of the shins. Head hangs heavy towards your feet here. In this pose, you can allow the spine to round. It's a little bit more of a yin version versus the yang that we just did with that flat back and the fold. This pose kind of allows the gravity to do the work a little bit here. Another breath right where you are. So done, rise back up, let the palms come to the knees to guide them back up. And we are gonna roll right onto our backs, just letting knees come in towards your chest when you get there. You can gently rock a little side to side or make some circles with your knees as you massage out your back here on the floor. From here, go ahead and extend your legs long down the mat, reach your arms overhead and find a nice full body stretch. Allow your left knee to come in towards your chest. We're gonna drop that leg across the body over to the right side for a spinal twist. Let your left arm tee on out. It's okay if that right knee does not touch all the way down for the floor. You can keep the back of the head on the mat, or you can look away over that left shoulder here, looking toward that left hand. So return back to center, extend the left leg long, let the right knee come in towards your chest, and then go ahead and take this pose over to the left side, and dropping that right knee over to the left, teeing out that right arm. You're a little bit more onto that left hip here. And trying to reach for that right hand to bring that right shoulder down. And then go ahead and return on back to center once more. Extend that right leg long again. Reach your arms overhead one last time. And then walk your arms and your legs on over to the right, kind of creating a half crescent or banana-like shape here. Make sure that your left glute is staying tacked down and your left shoulder is staying tacked down. So this time you are not rolling off onto that right side. From here, if you'd like more, you can take the left ankle over top of the right, and you could reach for your left wrist with your right hand to get that little tug pull here. I'm feeling that stretch down the whole left side of that body. Back to center, walk it on over to the opposite side. Allow that right ankle to come over top of the left. Reach for the right wrist with your left hand for a little more. So go ahead and come on back. Draw both knees in towards your chest, giving yourself one last good hug. You can lift the head and shoulders off of the floor, curling up into the tiniest little ball that you can. And tense all the muscles in the body, scrunch the muscles in the face, clench the fingers, the toes, tighten wherever it is that you can. And then exhale, release, let it all go. Extend your legs long down the mat, the arms long down the mat, to get ready for your Shavasana. You can snow angel out the body as little or as much as you'd like to. Allow the eyes to close. Relax those muscles in the face. And breathe in here. Feeling your whole back body resting against the floor. Maybe noticing the spaces that aren't able to melt into the floor. So just behind the back of the neck, underneath of the low back, or behind the backs of the knees. If you can let go and soften everywhere else and let that whole body melt down into the floor as if you're softening down into sand. Feeling the breath here as you inhale and feel belly rise. You exhale and feel belly fall. And as you inhale, that breath rises from the belly all the way up to your heart. And then as you exhale, that breath falls all the way back down to your belly again. And it kind of has this oceanic-like quality to it, kind of a wave. With the inhale, it rises, the exhale, it crashes and falls. And every breath draw you in just a little deeper. And then going feeling free here. And back to that nice grounded feeling that we had at the beginning of class in Child's Pose. When you're ready, let that breath deepen. Begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Make some circles with your wrists, with your ankles. And gently maybe turn that head a little side to side. And any other stretches here to help wake that body back up. And eventually hug those knees in toward chest and then roll off to one side using your arm as a pillow, allowing your eyes to remain closed here. Thinking about maybe how you can manifest grounding throughout the rest of your day. And then slowly rolling yourself back up to a seated position. Just an easy cross-legged seat. Root down through the sits bones, grow taller through the spine. Big inhale as the arms reach up toward the sky. Exhale, let the hands float down through your heart center. Allow the thumb knuckles to press into the heart as you feel it beat, knowing together here that we are one. And the divine light and love within me sees and honors that same light and love within each and every one of you. Together here, we bow our heads and say namaste. And thank you guys so much for practicing with me. Hopefully you continue to practice. I can't wait to see you next time.